there goes Maya chasing after something. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Gotta love the timing of a camera.
Yeah. Well, she sees something, and
She goes.
it brings a whole new level to squirrel moments, because she
Sorry,
sees the
it's Mommy's
squirrels,
phone.
rabbits, any of that stuff. So,
We should probably start over, but we don't do redos.
no.
I tell you, we've been sitting here, and then you press the play, and everything. Isn't that? Maybe that's just the way things go, and that's the
how
theme
it
of
normally
today.
is.
You just gotta
Yeah.
roll with it.
I've found, especially lately, when it's hot like this, I don't typically carry my phone, especially when we're doing a lot of projects and stuff. It's just one more thing weighing you down. But the days that I carry it, then I don't hear nothing from anybody. I don't get messages. I don't have anything. I leave it in the house for like 2 hours, and I come back, and there's like 100 messages and phone calls, and
Sorry, back on my back.
you never get a call or message or anything, and nothing happens until all of a sudden you want to start filming or start working, and then it's like, oh, this delays the process. And
Yeah.
we've already had, well, let me rephrase. Somebody's already had 9 million things going this morning. I got coffee and breakfast down, which was amazing, with homemade sourdough bagels
Yeah. They were good.
and your sausage.
And my own sausage. Yep.
Yeah. And of course our own eggs.
Yep.
So the only thing that wasn't made here was
Cheese, because the goats ain't giving me milk.
the cheese.
Yeah. And today, well, we're sitting here because the sun is really, 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 really hot. And it's just too bright out to do it on the porch. But today's going to be a divide and conquer day, because after I got all the gardening done and everything, I've got to go into the Matrix and get y'all out a video for the main channel and see what we've been doing the last couple days. And I'm not sure what you're going to do, baby.
We've
What
been
are you
doing
gonna
stuff the last couple days.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing done.
Yeah, as he
they
moseys
can't.
downstairs this morning going, I didn't mean to sleep in.
It was only like 7:30 though. So
It was 8.
No.
Yes.
She's full of beans, y'all.
No. But
But yeah, divide and conquer day. So
at least for a while. The flies are just
we
awful.
need to hit the sawmill some more, but it's easier. The setup that we have, it is much easier to do it with 2 people than it is with 1.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Aunt Swami would help, but
It can be dangerous, and
it's a little
yeah.
above her pay grade.
Yeah. I mean, she's
And-
observing and she's watching, and I think that, eventually she can assist with that. But we have a rhythm down. We know what each one is expected to do, how we do it, and it flows nicely. But you have to respect the logs and respect the tractor and respect the sawmill for the danger that they can be. And so you always want to keep that in mind. And, we're almost to a point where we kind of make it look easy.
Yeah, and that's where
My back itches.
what do you got going on?
I don't know. I felt like down. Maybe it's bugs. Mosquitoes any bug just loves me. I don't know why. If there's 100 bugs, they're all going to land on me and bite me and leave him alone. It's not fair. It's not fair at all.
Well, I was just watching Gary and Mary at Junk to Gems live last night, and yeah, the same thing with Gary. Like, it must be something, because the 2 of you were born in the same hospital. They must have
were.
administered something.
Oh.
Because Gary had made the comment that he could be in a stadium full of people, and the one mosquito is going to find him
Yeah.
out of the thousands of people.
Yeah.
Guaranteed every time.
I mean, I take garlic every day.
Must have been something in the water at that hospital, I guess.
Must have been. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, that's the crazy, ironic thing about YouTube and meeting people. When we met Gary and Mary, we had a couple long conversations with them, and they were in Florida. We were here in Arkansas when we first met, and lo and behold, Gary and I grew up not even a half hour apart, and were born in the exact same hospital. I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah.
What are the chances? And so it automatically, remember when we used to do this? Remember when we used to do that? Did you guys go here to get your alcohol? And, just goofy things like that. And it's just we're all strangers, but we're all connected in one way or another.
And I
it's
think that that's
awesome.
what makes the bond amongst everybody that we've made friends with is when you start coming down to it, there's so many things that kind of link you together that, it's all these factors coming from, 100 different directions that come together to build our bond and friendships so much more.
But I think that, and too, and I remember this in sociology and psychology courses, that, it takes certain people automatically will have the natural ability to seek out a common denominator. So when you first come to meet someone, you don't know anything about that person, right? And so through those initial back and forths, you start trying to find that commonality. And then once you find that commonality, typically it'll flourish. And some people are not able to do that. They don't go into a conversation to try to find a commonality, because if you have a commonality, that's something in common. And so then you just kind of go from there. And I miss school. I loved college.
No.
I did. Like I'm a perpetual learner, and it just reminds me that I do miss school. If it didn't cost so much, I'd go back, just to go back to learn.
They couldn't even pay me to go to school.
But anyway, we hope you guys are having a beautiful, wonderful day. It looks like we are going to be rain-free for a hot minute, which is really going to allow us a great opportunity to accomplish some things, at least over the next week and a half before we have to head back up to Michigan for Pops' funeral. But, I'm pleased with what we're getting done. I had started some new zucchini plants for my second round and got those planted this morning. Culled out my old pea plants. I got a thing of zooks cucumbers. Did I already say this?
No.
No? Oh. Yeah, I got my first batch of cucumber pickles brining in the fridge overnight. So once I get done with the video today, I'll be able to get those jarred and canned up. And yeah, I don't know. The garden is a garden, I'm picking tomatoes. I'm getting my green beans on right now. I'm really pleased with the garden. Although I'm a little discouraged because a few of my Romas, they look beautiful from the outside. And I cut them and they're rot on the inside. The fleshes are good, but the seeds are rot. So I don't know. I pulled out my pH detector that Anson gave me, and I'm going to go around and check the pH of my soil and do a little research. And I did feed them yesterday. Jason and I went around and fed every single plant, which I know I should have been doing regularly, and I know I need to keep doing it, but it was growing so good. So
yeah, and it's
not all tomatoes are that way.
We've kind of talked about that before a little bit. We're kind of just, we do the initial supplement of nutrients with the fertilizer and that kind of stuff.
And I know that's not enough.
And then you've got, but it's so hard to build a normal rhythm in our current situation. No. Because, we're building too, so you're trying to live the homestead life while you're still building the homestead. Yeah. And it adds a challenge. And we keep reminding ourselves, sometimes it's upsetting, that it's like, oh man, how did we not pay enough attention to this or that? Or, at least this year, like we got the trellises up for the tomatoes, as to where last year we fell behind and we didn't get the trellising up, and it ended up creating, I think, more waste than what we would have liked.
And that'll be the beauty of it, when we do get the homestead to a point where I can spend hours and hours and hours in the garden doing gardening stuff. And I'm looking forward to that because I think the harvest will just be that much more greater. Yeah.
And so back to the whole divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Now that we've made that loop all the way around.
Well, you tell them about that. I'm going to go get the bug spray because,
she needs her bug spray bath. So while she's doing the whole making a movie and editing and whatnot, I'm going to so Eric over at Tilted K and Missy brought me over a couple rolls of the electric netting fence. And we originally had talked about using it all for moving the goats around. They're good in the spot they're in, but we would like to let them move out a little more and clear an area. Like, why not use them instead of me having to go in with, the chainsaw, weed whipper, all that kind of stuff. So we want to take some of that netting, because I think there's 2 sections of it. I don't know if they're fully connected or what, but we'll have to look. I've got to kind of sort that out today. And we want to put it around the whole garden area. Because we want to let the chickens free range. We've been talking about it for a while, guys, ever since we got them. And the biggest drawback to doing it up until this point has been because of the garden. They will get in there and decimate anything that is in there. And we don't want that. I mean, we've put a lot of time, effort, and money into growing this garden to just let the chickens peck it away and do what they want. And like, I'm even looking at the corn and knowing that, like, when it got this tall last year, something came in and ate every bit of it. And so far we've been, knock on wood.
Although yesterday morning we did see 3 deer right on our trail that we made for the side-by-side. And we heard them first, and I'm like, that's deer. You can just tell. And then sure enough, Mr. I Spy Eagle Eye over here, he was able to dial in on him, and I still couldn't. It took me a hot minute before I could dial in, but but they're not coming up here like they used to. So we're hoping that Maya has deterred them enough, because the corn's still good. And I think Maya's going to be fine with the chickens, because we have chickens get out all the time, and she doesn't like chase them or she's real protective of all the animals here on the homestead. So.
And the chickens will be better off. I mean, they've got the area, the pen they're in, pretty decimated. I mean, we feed them every day.
But it's a huge area. I see people with more chickens in a smaller area.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to see their yolks a little bit more yellow. And up north, I did free range all of my chickens, and the yolks were so good. The shells were so hard. I just think that it's healthier, but I need to be able to safely do that.
And it'll cut down on our bug population around here, which needs some tampering down. But yeah, the better effects of them. And so I'm going to try to take that netting and figure out the best route and path of encompassing the garden without us getting zapped every time we want to go in it. And then I'm going to have to go to town and get a fence or electric fence charge controller deal. Eric offered to give me the one solar one, but after talking to him, the one that he had, it really wasn't the greatest. Like, his chickens walked right through it, which meant predators will probably just walk right through it, and we don't need that. So, but he said once he got an upgraded fencer, then, and I actually hit it on accident the one day, and I can typically handle a hit from an electric fence, but that one got my attention. So it definitely works pretty well.
Were you electrified?
I was electrified.
First I was afraid, then I was electrified. Is that not the words? No?
I don't.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know the words.
I
know it's a song, and I can play the music.
No, I'm telling you right now,
head.
that's not the words, because
okay.
I changed it to go. It's the way my brain works. There's a song in my head for everything, every situation. I could be walking right over here between here and the corn, and a song's gonna pop into my head that goes with me walking from here to the corn. It just happens. I don't know why my brain does that.
I always have a song in my head, and it's something around like the circus song. That's how I feel most days. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But yeah, so we're going to divide and conquer today, and hopefully we can both get done with our chores that we need to get done. And I know that we have like
stranger danger.
I know we've got supplies to buy, but I don't know what supplies. I know. See, he's our list maker. I'm a list teller.
She just shouts out, "Hey, we need this," and all right. So I keep a list on my phone because, well, it never fails.
We always forget.
If you write one down, on a piece of paper, then you forget the piece of paper at home.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I've always got my phone if we go to town or go something like that. So it's like, hey, I got a little notes tab and I keep a running list. Because then the other part
I won't
is
forget if I just yell it out. Well, I'll forget after I yell it out.
well, right. And if
But
you try
if
to
I
go to
yell
the
it
store
out-
without a list, you'll get everything but the stuff that
Yeah.
you needed because you forgot you needed it.
Right. Yeah.
So
So he's, you know, I mean, I've tasked him with a few other tasks to kind of take my my load down a little bit. Yeah. Because
Sure.
I also tasked him with one other thing, and I'm loving it for sure.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, if I'm sorting, washing,
Oh, that part.
drying, folding all the clothes, I think it's only fair that, you know, he gets to put them all away.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
I help where I can.
I love it.
I mean, tiny house living, so you just, a lot of times it's better for me to just stay out of the way. And I want to help. Like, we'll be in the kitchen and I want to help, and then she's like, no, you're just in the way, get out of here. So I just don't go in there. But,
It's
It all
your
works.
story, honey.
I know.
You can tell
They
it.
believe me, don't worry.
You can tell it how you want.
I will. As long as I'm the one that believes it, at least there's one.
Yeah. Yep. And no baking today. No sourdough today. I mean, I fed my starter, but
We still have an abundance.
we do. We do. And
Which I'm not mad about.
no.
I mean, it's good to have it, and this last batch of the sourdough sandwich bread that she made, actually, even without toasting it, I made sandwiches last night, and it held together. Because that was been kind of the struggle.
the crumb versus
was
like a texture.
Yeah, like trying to make, like, even the old versions, when you toasted it, it was fine. It like bonded it together. But if you try to use it as a just a, hey, I want a cold sandwich, it broke apart. Like, you just ended up using a fork.
And it was
to eat
only
a
the
sandwich.
second time I'd made it like this, and I actually made it on accident because I thought I was using the right recipe, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I know there was an egg in there. Wait a minute, I know there was baking soda or baking powder in there, and so I'm like, all right, and I just started adding stuff, and then so it turned out great, but I did the whole batch in one large loaf pan, and it was like huge. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll divide the dough and I'll put them in 2 loaf pans, and that should give me a really good sized loaf. And wrong mistake on that again, because I stayed with my larger loaf pans. So I think next time I do it, I'm still going to split the loaf, but I'm going to use my smaller loaf pans so that it actually gets that, you know, mushroom top up top. I've got a plan.
Okay. I have a plan too. Eat it
it.
when it's made. That's the easiest plan ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so things are making progress, guys. We're excited for you to see the video today. You know, a somewhat spoiler is we did run out of lumber,
Yeah, we did.
so we had to mill some more, which is never a bad day. And we probably
funny.
won't, with everything going today, get back on the mill again today. But we're gonna have such nice weather that tomorrow can be a full mill day again.
Well, it's kind of funny because like we were on the mill when Jake left for work, and then we were still on the mill when Jake got home from work. He's like, "You guys are still milling?" Or like, "Yeah." So he jumped in and started milling.
Well,
with
we
Jason
milled a
for-
few logs and then
We took a lunch break.
came in, took a lunch break, and then went back out and milled a couple more logs. And yeah, but you know, every little bit, especially, you know, and right now I'm trying to pick some of those logs that have been kind of in the front that I've been dodging, because they're ones that I know aren't going to produce as much lumber as they should, because of either damage or punkiness or anything. But we need to get these ones up off the ground. And I think we're in the works with Eric, of possibly going over and getting more logs, because he still has a lot of logs, and all of the wood that he has down, either he needs to mill it or we need to mill it, or it's literally just gonna become junk. It's been down long enough that it's starting to rot, and it's gonna be a waste. So instead of wasting, you know, we both have kind of talked about it. And of course their situation has changed a little bit. So like he doesn't have as much
time or opportunity to mill. So,
Yeah.
you know, and we actually had gotten a winch for the big trailer, which if we can rig it up and if we can make it work, that means it's one less trip over to Tilted K's to take Blue over to load the logs. Where if, you know, the winch works, it's just one trip. And even though we are close with Eric and Missy, it's still an hour one way. So if you factor in taking the trailer over with Blue on it, driving back,
Well, we would drive back with a load of logs.
or yeah,
after
drive
that.
back with a load of logs, and then have to drive back to get Blue. Like it's just it's a logistic nightmare. Whereas if we can get the winch to work and our log dog and our log dolly, then if we can safely get the logs loaded without Blue, then that saves 2 hours and fuel. So
Yeah.
we're trying to work it out, folks. Just stick along. See, you're like watching our thought processes take place.
Yeah. And of course, on top of that, like we need to at some point, you know, not everything's finalized on Aunt Swami's cabin.
Right.
We're still working on some details. We know the location of it, and we are gonna have to clear that area. And
Yeah, stick around, because as is, we like to change everything, don't we?
plus Jackson being home, so that's kind of adding.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
got some big news over there of
Big news. Big
Yeah, we'll
news.
just go with big news.
We're just gonna go with big news, but it'll take our help a little bit. So we're gonna split some time and head over there and take care of that. But yeah, always something, always busy, and so much going on. So stick around, because, well, I mean, I'm gonna tell you today what we're gonna do, but it's always subject to change, you guys.
Yeah.
Adapt
Even
and
as you're
overcome.
doing it, it'll change. But-
Adapt and overcome.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, I need to get it in
Yeah.
and get the movie made.
Get to work.
I know. Excuse me, I've been working all morning. It doesn't work in
Mine's
reverse.
broke.
His whip is broke.
Dang it.
It's because I have my own whip. I whip myself. Okay, that didn't sound right.
On that note, folks, we better get her in there. She's losing her marbles. Too much sun already.
Already, probably, yeah, because
So-
I've been out in it.
But thank you guys for following along of our journey, giving us some amazing comments. We enjoy reading.
we're trying to work through all the comments between both channels.
Yeah.
It takes a hot minute.
But it's awesome. We love seeing
Thank
it.
you.
We love the stories that some of y'all are reaching out and sending us. Like, it's just we appreciate every single one of
We
you.
do.
And you know, it makes us doing what we do that much gooder. So
It does. Thank
all
you,
right,
guys.
We'll see you in the next one.
Peace out from the ridge.